Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Accent Training Podcast. My name is Pat. I'm your personal American accent coach, and I want to follow up today and help you develop one of the most difficult American accent sounds, this tense, close U. What makes this sound difficult? The fact that it doesn't exist in your native language. All right, that's what makes it difficult. Your muscles don't know how to do it, and your ears don't hear it. The movement that we're making while we're projecting the vowel, ew, is not made in the same way in your native language. The position, is not made in the same way in your native language. And the projection of voice that's needed to do this most clearly, ew, is not used in your native language. And for those reasons, this is going to take time to develop. Let's put a little time in right now with some geography. Have you ever heard of New York? I'm not saying New York, nor am I saying New York, New York, but I'm projecting my voice clearly and contracting my lips. Ew. New York. New York. New Jersey. New Mexico. A lot of news around the U.S. Tucson. That's in Arizona. Tucson. Louisiana. If you're in any of those places and you've been pronouncing it New Mexico, or Tucson, then there's a simple change that you can make to pronounce that location easier. Tucson. So now that I've got your ears adjusted for that ew once again, I want to bring your attention to one of the finer details of the American accent. Pronouncing American names clearly. Because every American that you're going to meet has a name, and I'll bet you that if you pronounce their name the way that they like to hear it, you're going to have a better chance of connecting with them. So the next time that you meet Lucas or Luke, ew, you know that you've got to project your voice clearer in that vowel, Lou, and fade it off with a lip contraction. Luke, Lucas. How's Luke doing? How's Luke doing? How about with Andrew? Andrew. Or just Drew for short. Andrew. If you say Andrew, you may be understood. However, you won't be saying Andrew's name the way that he likes to hear it. Andrew is better suited to the job. We'll see Andrew at noon. Andrew at noon. How about the name Julian? Julian. If you say Julian or Julian, then you might lose Julian's interest because he likes to hear his name in a special way, Julian. And if he doesn't hear it that way, he doesn't listen to what you have to say. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you like that about Julian or not, because it's just the way he is, and he might be your boss. So you're going to have to go with it. Julian will be in soon. And then how about ladies' names? How about Julie? Julie. Get Julie one, too. Ew. Get Julie one, too. How about Lucy? What does Lucy do? What does Lucy do? What does Lucy do? What does Lucy do? And one more name here. How about Judy? I hear that Judy has 2 extra tickets. And if you want to talk to Judy and get one of those tickets, then you better say her name clearly, right? Judy. Judy. Lucy. Julie. Julian. Andrew. Luke. Lots of oohs in these common American names. So now we're in the thick of it. You've been hearing these oohs. I'm sure that they're getting clearer for you. And I want to see if you got what it takes to put this to work in the real world. I'm going to read out 5 phrases. All of these phrases are full of ooh sounds, but I'm not going to read these ones in slow motion. I'm going to read them just as quick and naturally as I would if I were just having a regular conversation with, I don't know, my neighbor. I want you to listen. I want you to identify how many oohs there were. And then I want you to repeat the phrase back to me, trying to get it quickly while completing those full ooh movements. Should we get soup or salad this afternoon? 2 oohs in there. I'll need some new shoes soon. 3 oohs in there. Go through the kitchen to find some food. 2 oohs in there. I have a Zoom meeting at noon. 2 oohs in there. Sue has an issue with you choosing a new school. Let me say that one again. That one was fast. Sue has an issue with you choosing a new school. 6 oohs in that phrase. That phrase is a masterpiece. 6 oohs. Sue has an issue with you choosing a new school. Now, if you're feeling the subtle difference in how you're projecting your voice, and if you're controlling your lip movement a little bit more confidently, then what you've got to do next is take these words that we've just been practicing here, and take some of the names that we've been practicing, and try to use them in real life situations. Your muscles and your brain are not going to remember these things if you don't create the memories, if you don't create muscle memory, and if you don't actually go out and have situations where you try to use the ooh sound and you make a mistake, but then you remember it, and then the next time you do it better, and then the times after that it just gets clearer and more confident. If you don't go through that process, then this is not going to develop. However, if you have the opportunity to speak with Americans directly, then I implore you to write down a few ooh words, even listen to this episode again, note a few ooh words that you can use in your spoken English. Then write out some of the phrases that you anticipate coming up using those words. And create a habit of using a new sound with common vocabulary, and be prepared the next time that you go into that English speaking situation where those words are going to be needed. If you take these steps, you will create a significant foundation with one of the most difficult to learn American accent sounds. I'm not kidding. When I say this is one of the most difficult to learn, this is the reason why I haven't even made an episode about this until now. I've been making this podcast for 4 years now, and I didn't even create an episode until just now because I always said, what's the point? It's too difficult. People aren't going to get it. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? I could explain this with audio only. You know, where we know about the W glides here. It's no secret. We know about the lip contractions. We know about the voice projection. And I thought to myself, I think they can handle it. I think that whoever listens to this and they drive to work or are sitting on the subway or the train or wherever, and you practice your English along with me, I think that you can handle this as like on-the-go learning, even though it's one of the most difficult sounds that you're going to come across, learning the American accent. You can absolutely do it. Just follow the instructions given, repeat the sounds after me, or at the very least, keep listening closely so that your brain and your ears adapt to the sounds better. And make sure that you give this podcast 5 stars and you notify yourself whenever a new episode comes out to keep your personal and professional development as the highest priority for you. Have a good one, folks. I've got a question for you. Do you want to express yourself in English just as clearly and confidently as you do in your native language, knowing how your words are going to connect with the other person every time? Well, my friend, you are in luck. I have positions available for accent training, and I'm looking for non-native English speakers who need English for professional interactions. I have limited spots available, and this is the last time that I'll be holding this program for the rest of 2024. So if you're someone who needs English for key professional interactions or high-stakes communications at work where you need to build some personal connections with people, and you want to see it happen before the end of 2024, open the link in the description of this podcast episode, fill out the application to train one-on-one with me, Pat, and if we see that you're a good fit to be training with my method, we'll be in touch to work together.